Well, because I grew up with my mom and dad being a teacher, I never wanted to be a teacher. It wasn't fun dealing with different people every day, and I could see that sometimes they were really stressed out as well. And I guess being a young child at the time, our dreams were being a doctor, engineer, and architect, some fancy names, but never a teacher. And I knew growing up in a family of teachers, that teachers never really earn a lot.
Right. Hi Julia, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming and joining us today. You are the principal of Victory Academy, and we'd like to get to know a little bit more about Victory Academy, but we'd like to get to know you more a little bit.
I was born in a very small town called Kampar.
I know Kampar.
I grew up having parents who were teachers. I grew up in a very strict family. My parents had very strict rules at home.
Are you the only child?
No, I'm the eldest in the family.
Right. Usually the elders get it worse, right?
I guess so. My sister, she got it much better. But also because she was much more obedient at home. So being the eldest child in the family, I was quite rebellious. I didn't like listening to my parents. And I got into a lot of trouble in school. So I didn't grew up being very obedient at home, and
This was in Kampar, right?
Yes, this was in Kampar.
So you grew up in Kampar, you went to primary school Kampar, secondary school Kampar?
Yes, that as well.
And then where do you go for your tertiary?
Then I went to university in University Malaya. It was a difficult journey there because I had to do 2 years in a maktab. That is a teacher teaching college, training college. So I spent 2 years there. It was difficult because the rules there were even stricter than school rules. They have curfews at night, and being a campus student at that time, all I wanted was freedom. But there I had to learn how to follow rules and be a good teacher. And then I transferred to University Malaya for 2 years.
Were you on scholarship?
Yes, I was.
Wow,
so,
that's not easy to get.
So
you must have been a good student actually. Eventually, you became a good student.
I learned from my mistakes. So
good.
after being very disobedient and not being very good in school, I had to realize that I would have no future if I continue that way. So I had to learn it the hard way. But I thank God for good parents. They were very encouraging.
So they were encouraging even though they saw you rebellious, not really a good student in school. So they were strict, but they were very patient then.
They were.
With you.
Correct. I still remember my father, who was at that time the Penolong Kanan. He was one of the discipline teachers in school as well. He had to call me to his office to have me caned. So I still remember that very clearly, and I think that was the turning point where I saw that how much it hurt my father. So I realized that, you know what, I should probably be better. And I also realized that if I don't study, my parents are not going to put me into any universities that they probably just can't afford at that time. So I had to study hard, and by God's grace, I managed to enter university with a scholarship.
And what did you study again?
I studied TESOL, that is Teaching of English as a Second Language, for my degree. And after my degree, I also got a scholarship to do my master's.
Wow.
Same
place?
Same university. So I continued with my master's education. And then I got a scholarship to do my PhD. But at that time, because I was pregnant with my first child, I didn't want to pursue that. So I turned down the offer. So hopefully one day I have a chance to pursue that as well.
PhD to do the same
PhD in education.
Course, education in University Malaya.
Yes, correct.
Got a scholarship for that. Wow, that's a big sacrifice, huh? But of course, family also is worth the sacrifice, isn't it?
Yeah, because I studied for so many years, I thought
Right.
that probably it was time to give it a break, to
Yes.
stop for a
But
while.
were you already working before you did, or before you even got the offer to do your PhD? You were already working, weren't you?
Yes, I was already working,
Yeah.
so I was actually working and doing my master's at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were working as a teacher?
Yeah, I used to teach in university.
Okay.
So I taught in two universities before. One is Tar College,
Okay.
and another is Sunway University.
Okay.
So I
So
was.
both were universities. Have you taught primary and secondary school before?
Oh yes, that was during my teacher training days.
Okay.
I was posted to different government schools to teach there.
As your practical and all that, right? You had to
Yes,
do that, yeah.
correct. That is compulsory. Yeah. So it was an exciting time at that time, and I learned a lot about also teaching
Yeah.
because I was put into the worst classes to teach English to those who can't speak English. I had to deal with more discipline cases than teaching. So it was a good experience, and as a teacher trainee, I really learned a lot at that time.
Right. And when you say you learned a lot, did that experience being in those public schools sort of like formulate within you, a dream or a vision of what you would like to do one day if you ever were a principal of a school? Would you say that? That it formed then?
Correct. It did, because I didn't want schools to be where like what I experienced. Probably because my experience there as a teacher wasn't good. Because I saw so many different things happening
Right.
in school and outside of school. I saw that students weren't learning in class. They came to school to have fun and not to learn.
Right.
And their whole perception of education is just not right. So, of course, if I would have the chance to change things at that time, there were a lot of things that I would like to change.
Right.
But I knew that it wasn't in my control
Sure.
or something that I can do. So just continued doing what I could at that time. And it saddened me actually to see that these children were urban kids. They had all that they needed,
Right.
but yet they don't see that education was important. So something must be wrong somewhere, and the school didn't reinforce that education is important. They actually allowed it to happen. They allowed their kids to not go to school. It's okay to skip school. It's okay to copy in the exams, and as long as you do well. So it's not something that I wanted to see. So it saddened me, and it even made me more passionate
Right.
to want to make a change in the education system. So when I got a chance to, of course, start something that I dreamed of, it was an amazing opportunity for me to even give back to the people who I know that deserves a very good education. It's just that probably they don't know where to find it, don't know how to go about it. Yeah.
It's amazing because I can see two things there. One is that you were given an opportunity to do your practical and you saw things, heard things, felt things that made you sad, as you said. And yet you were able to turn your sadness into a passion
Yeah.
to make something right
Yeah.
from what you saw was wrong.
Yeah.
That doesn't always happen
Yes.
with people because people just remain sad
Yeah.
and they remain complaining about the system
Yeah.
and not doing anything to change it. And of course, at that time, you were in that school or those schools where you saw these things and you had no control
Yes.
or no power to change it then. But it's nice to know that you kept it fresh in your heart and mind, that if you ever had a chance one day, which of course you do have a chance now being principal of Victory Academy, and how cool that is to be able to go one cycle.
Yeah.
But before we get to Victory Academy and how it started, I heard from the producer, she gave me a fun fact about you, that you actually never wanted to be a teacher.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, because I grew up with my mom and dad being a teacher, I never wanted to be a teacher because it wasn't fun dealing with different people every day, and I could see that sometimes they were really stressed out as well. And I guess being a young child at the time, our dreams were being a doctor, engineer, and architect, some fancy names,
Sure.
but never a teacher. And I knew growing up in a family of teachers, that teachers never really earn a lot.
Right. So
Yeah.
money also, finances is a very
Yeah.
natural
Correct.
consideration, right? Yeah.
So I told myself I never wanted to be a teacher. So when I graduated with my SPM, I applied to different places which I dreamed of entering. I wanted to do journalism. So I applied for mass communication in a couple of universities. And lo and behold, I got a scholarship to do mass comm and specific journalism in Tar College.
Okay.
So I was so happy. So I started off there for 3 weeks. And then I guess God had a different plan. So then I got a letter from University of Malaya saying that, hey, I got a scholarship to my degree in TESOL. My parents were overjoyed, but of course I wasn't.
Right.
I was adamant to stay where I was in the journalism course. But my parents had to talk me out of it. I entered the TESOL course very reluctantly. But probably it was the best, because when I look back now, I have no regrets. It's just that at that time I was like, why must I do this? I want to be a journalist. I don't want to be a teacher. But it was so different when I started joining, and especially when I started going to schools and seeing the need there, and seeing that, hey, it's actually not what I thought it was. It's actually such a noble profession. It requires so much patience. It requires so much dedication. And it's not about the money. Well, it is important.
Sure.
But it made me realize so many things that I probably didn't realize before. And made me understood why my parents came home so stressed out, but yet so happy at the same time. I grew to love it.
Yeah.
And of course now I look back, well, it's certainly, I thank God that I didn't choose what I wanted. And my parents had to choose for me at that time.
Good. So again, thankfully you had parents who had far-sightedness.
Yeah.
And also parents who managed to convince you, because some children won't ever be convinced by their parents.
Yeah, the convince were more of you better go, if not then you don't continue your studies. But it was
enough.
but it was good because I probably needed the direction at that time. I was young, I didn't know what I wanted. I just went with what I felt was the best. But probably they knew best. They saw my strengths. They knew that probably I wouldn't survive in the corporate world, in the mass comm world. Probably I didn't have the cut for it as well. They probably saw that, but I didn't see it at that time. So
sometimes it's probably good, right, to not have too much freedom, especially for a young person. To decide on things that maybe they don't really know is beneficial or not, and to have a little bit more forcefulness from a parent or from a mentor or someone who cares enough, who can see further. Because I think maybe today there's a bit too much freedom for young people, and then they make too many choices that they regret.
It's fun and I want to learn.
I like studying in Victory Academy. It's fun and interesting.
Their education is quite good. I like their curriculum because we use iPad for studies too, so it's quite interesting. We have good facilities here. It's clean here. I like how the teachers teach us. Our friends are quite caring too.
The teachers understand if we do something wrong.
The teachers are very caring and they will encourage you, they will help you. Example, for this particular part you don't know, they will keep teaching you until you understand.
They are very kind. All the teachers will motivate you even though when you're down.
Caring, they always help me whenever I need help.
The teachers work together with the parents. And things that's not right, we need to rectify. Then we come in as a team and to help him out.
I like the curriculum. I like how the system is done. It's not just about schoolwork, but it's also about activities that you have which a child can then explore.
When you put a child in this environment, what do you see them become after 2.5 months, 3 months, 6 months? I think that's one of the biggest difference I find going to VA.
Yes, this is the best school ever.
Yeah, this is the best school I've ever been.
I'm just reaching out to this really nice looking what we call is a prospectus.
Yeah.
But such a nice prospectus. Well done. And this one is a yearbook?
Yeah, this is our yearbook.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, we have a yearbook every year. So our students actually have a role to play in compiling the articles and everything in there.
Very
Even the
nice.
photographer that took the class photos was a student.
Okay, let's talk about Victory Academy now.
Yeah.
So when did it start and how did it start?
Well, we started off in 2014.
Okay. That's 4 years ago now.
Yeah, where we had this dream. I had this dream of starting a school very long time ago actually, but I never knew it was possible at that time because of the different financial constraints and also knowing the education system in Malaysia. It's not that easy to just start a school like that.
Sure.
So I had this dream, but kept it aside, continued teaching, and then of course I'm part of X Church, and one day I just heard my pastor shared about this dream that he had about starting a school. Like, wow, okay, that's an amazing dream. That's so good. But I didn't ever think that I'll be part of the dream that the church had, and my dream was just a separate one.
Right.
But as time goes by, and my pastor approached me saying that, hey, you know what? I thought about you, and let's talk about starting a school. I was blown away because I never knew that day would come so fast.
Right.
Yeah, I thought, okay, probably 20 years down the road, after 20 years of experience, then probably I'll think of starting a school. But that opportunity came, and it's like something that I've never thought would happen so quickly. So everything fell into place. The discussion went well with the Australian school.
Right.
Also
so you're partnering, right?
Yes, we're partnering with an Australian
school, which is called
Victory Christian College.
Okay.
In Bendigo.
Right, and it's a Christian-based school as well.
Yes, it is.
But they've been existing for what, maybe 20 years now?
I think this is their 30th year running.
So they've got all the experience.
Yes.
They've got all that, and they were willing to partner with Victory Academy.
Yes.
And to what is in their partnership? They send teachers over here sometimes.
Correct.
Yeah.
They train our teachers,
Okay.
and they do a great job because they're so experienced. They provide the curriculum,
Right.
the syllabus.
That's important, right?
Yeah, and also they actually train our teachers to how to set exam papers and do assessments as well. Besides that, they actually provide us their different policies. They already have in place and working policies that are good. So we actually adopted some of them as well. I think one of the policies that I really like that we adopted from our partner school was the bullying policy. They are very big on anti-bullying there. So we adopted that, and we find that so useful here.
That's good.
Because it is actually a prominent problem here in Malaysia. It's just that not many schools take up the initiative to curb it and to prevent it from happening.
That's so good.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things that they actually are doing there that are really good. So we work together with them, and we started a school here. Yeah.
So it's 4 years now, and you are the principal. The partnerships seem beautiful, timely. And when you started, were you the only staff?
No, I had Joy.
Okay.
She's our school manager.
Yep.
She started off the school with me
Okay.
together with 2 other teachers.
Yes, so that's 4 of you.
There's 4 of us,
Yeah.
and in our first year, we had 3 students.
Okay.
So we actually outnumbered the students.
Right.
But it was a
You
good
don't find it
time.
in any other school.
Yeah, you don't find
Yeah,
it
so
in
it's
any
4
other school.
teachers, 3 students in the very first year.
Yes,
It takes a
correct.
lot of faith,
Yeah.
but you started anyway.
We
so
started
good.
anyway, and I think the 3 students really enjoyed themselves, and they really love school. So from 3 we grew to around 30 the next year, and then from 30
That's
we
10 times.
Yes, 10
Yeah,
times
in 1 year.
Right. Then from 30 we had around 70, and then this year we are 123 students.
Okay. So that's over 100 in 4 years.
Yes,
Is
correct.
that right?
Yeah.
And then you have how many teachers now?
We currently have 20. We currently have 20 teachers.
Okay.
20 very dedicated and very passionate teachers.
Wow. And they're all quite young, right?
They look young. They probably look young.
Yeah.
Some of them have experience teaching. Some of them don't. But I'm very thankful that I've never seen such a passionate bunch of
Right.
teachers. To the point where sometimes I have to ask them, "Hey, it's time to go home," But they really love what they do, and most importantly, they love the students.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's what you need, right?
Yes.
You need quality teachers,
Yes.
but you also need passionate
Yes.
teachers,
Correct.
full of energy. Tell us a little bit about the values and vision. So when you started, you go like, okay,
Yeah.
I've been to the public schools here. I've kept some things in my heart that if the day comes that I be a principal, I want to see some changes.
Right.
And so you must have had some things very clearly set in your mind that my students will, get this, and my students will be inspired like this. And tell us some of these driving thoughts in your mind that inspires your work every day and your students and your teachers.
We have a tagline. The heart of education is education of the heart. We write along with this tagline almost every single day because we're out here not to teach only, but to impart values and principles that will last the students the lifetime. So it is a long process. It is not an easy process, but because we believe in that education is just not knowing your books well or scoring a string of A's, but it's also doing well in attitude, in behavior, and just making the best out of everything. So we do have that, and that what drives our teachers as well.
Right.
They know that it's just not about what is in the books only, but they know that they're out there to make an impact and to change lives. We have seen students coming in being very depressed, very hurt from their previous schools, probably being bullied, a lot of problems that they carry on their shoulders actually when they join us. So instead of just educating them, there was so much groundwork to do in terms of instilling a new set of values, instilling self-confidence, making them feel that they are actually worthy to be where they are, and to make them feel loved and cared for. So I think all these things actually gives us a sense of motivation as well every day to know that, hey, I am doing more than just educating. We are out here.
When you're seeing change lives, right?
Yes, correct.
I know some of the students. One of them actually came even at a very young age. She was already overweight, and I think in her previous school she was being bullied with words, and all these unkind, not so nice words that's being showered upon her on a weekly basis. But then when she changed schools to Victory Academy, I saw that the teachers loved her, showed and shared confidence with her, and the students were kind to her because you must be teaching the students to do that, and they accepted her. And you could see that when the students accepted, when they feel confident, they actually soar. They thrive. And I saw her thriving right before my eyes because I knew her personally. And then of course when she's happy, her parents are happy. But you left a mark in not just the children's life, but the family's life. And I knew of other kids. Some didn't like school, and then their parents tell me that they can't wait to get up in the morning to get to school. There's one child I know told the parents, "Can I come to school earlier than the teachers?" And the parents said, "Why?" "I just want to. I just love school." Another one was awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, and she's already sitting at the edge of the bed of her parents, and she's fully dressed in her uniform. And the parents told me that it's hard to get her up. That's number one, let alone putting her into her uniform. This is our daughter who has totally transformed after going to Victory Academy. Now she wakes up earlier than the parents, fully dressed. The parents don't even have to dress her up. She's brushed her teeth. She's gotten herself ready. She's just waiting for her parents to get up so that she can go to school.
That's good.
It's awesome to see children wanting to go to school because I can remember growing up not wanting to go to school. They like school, they love school.
That's good.
And that makes education so much easier. There must be a secret there, right? So tell us a bit more.
Well, the secret is to love them and to tell them that you actually love and care for them. I guess a lot of times, being even an Asian parent, we do things a very Asian way. We don't show our love the way we should actually. We sometimes just do things for the children or the students and not telling them. But in this current generation, they need a lot of assurance with all the things that they are going through and all the media that they are watching. They sometimes get the assurance from the wrong places. So we assure them, we encourage them, we motivate them, but we also discipline them with love. They know that every time that we discipline them, it's not that we're against them, that we're for them, and we actually just want them to be better people. So we do that all the time.
That's good.
Sometimes they might not accept it at first. They still come with the thought that we are against them because that's how it has been all their schooling life.
Right.
That when a teacher talks to them, it's always negative, it's always bad, and there's always no hope after that.
Right.
But that is what we don't want to instill. We want them to feel that we love them and we talk to them and we discipline them because we believe in them.
Yep.
That's what we are all about. We believe in students. So just for an example, we have, not all our students are academic, or not all of them are good in their studies. But all of them know that no matter what they're strong in, we still believe in them and they have a hope for the future.
Yeah.
And they will do well in what they want to do and in their own capacity. So I guess that's very important.
Yeah.
Because we can't expect all of them to score a string of A's
Sure.
and only praise those who do well in their studies.
Sure.
But we do acknowledge those who even do well in terms of behavior,
Yep.
in terms of improvement, even in their attitude and even their drive or in their motivation or in their self-confidence. So we acknowledge that and students know that we do.
Excellent.
And they appreciate that actually, even sometimes without saying it, they do because we see a smile on their face. We see that they're more confident to talk to people around them. We see that they start loving others when they are so grumpy at first and they come in full of anger sometimes and carrying different baggages along with them from their previous school, especially teenagers.
Right.
It takes a long journey or
Yeah.
process to get to where they are now, but it's with that love
Yeah.
and that
Love and patience,
Yeah.
believe.
Believing
That's
in
what
them.
you said. You believe in
Yeah.
them,
Yes.
and so that's why you continue to invest in them
Yes.
patiently, lovingly.
Correct.
And I just recently heard someone say, and I love this statement: there's an A in every student, and we just have to, as educators,
Yeah.
redefine what that A means.
Correct.
Because in the world, there's only one definition, and that is exams,
Correct.
academics.
Yes.
And yet, we don't reward the A for behavior, the A for trying,
Yes, correct.
the A for just showing up,
Yeah.
the
correct.
A for failing and failing well with a good attitude.
Yeah.
We don't seem to redefine, or we haven't had maybe even the courage to redefine how this game is really played.
Yeah.
The world has defined this game as this is the way it's played,
Yeah.
and so many are left behind
Correct.
because this game is actually quite unfair and also I think quite cruel.
Yeah.
But it looks like Victory Academy is redefining
Yeah.
success, redefining the A
Correct.
in every student. You're looking out intently
Yeah.
for the A
Correct.
in every student and rewarding it
Yeah.
appropriately, and that's great. Tell us a little bit of the challenges.
Yeah.
Of course, you're overcoming them one by one. That's why you're still here, and there's probably more to overcome.
Yes.
But tell us, give us the lowdown, give us the reality of what it means to actually be a principal of a school without all the experience you wish you had.
Yeah.
Tell us a few
Yeah.
of these thoughts.
Well, the challenges are certainly too many to mention.
Okay.
But I guess I don't see them as challenges. Instead, I see every step of the way a learning curve, something that I can learn.
Okay.
Dealing with people is a major thing that every teacher or principal needs to know how to do, because we deal with students, we deal with parents, we deal with
Yes.
people that are not even in school, and it's on a daily basis that we have to talk to different people. I guess one thing I've learned through these few years is that we always give people the benefit of a doubt. We always talk it out when things don't seem right, whether it's with a student or with a parent or with a fellow colleague.
Not every parent is easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can be very challenging, but as you said, you choose not to see them as a challenge.
Yes. Well, we do have different challenges as well, because when we first started off, we were actually not very financially strong.
Right.
So we had to find the best ways to provide the best education with what we had. We are very thankful for very resourceful teachers, and I'm very thankful for a good team of teachers, especially Joy. She has been with me since the first day that the school started. She's also the finance manager.
Okay.
So together we have actually come very far, from not being able to afford different things, to now we have two premises, two education wings.
Right.
One is a secondary education wing and one is a primary.
Wow.
So it is really good where we started from scratch.
Yes.
We started off in a little shop lot and with nothing much there, no science lab, no kitchen.
Wow.
But now we have all these facilities available. Now there are good problems where we are needing space for more students.
Yes.
So every year there's a little more expansion to premises and the team. So I guess now one of the main things that we find a bit more challenging is to get good teachers.
Right.
It's actually very difficult to get teachers who are really passionate, but thank God now we do have an amazing bunch.
Yes.
But that process is not easy, where we have to look high and low and wait
Right.
for people to write in,
Yeah.
and we have to screen through, do interviews.
Pray a lot too.
We pray a lot too, yes. Yeah, so it has not been easy because there are teachers who come and then they go, but there are also some teachers who they go overseas for their studies, and that's where we
Yes, that's right.
need new teachers to come in.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are really finding it a bit challenging in this area.
Because you don't want to let down your standards.
Correct. Yeah.
You know that to be able to provide good education, you need good teachers,
Yes.
passionate, qualified,
Yes.
godly.
Yes.
So you want to keep that high, right?
Yes.
So that's why the process is a bit tedious. The
Yeah.
wait is a bit long,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're not like out there, jumping in the fields waiting to be caught. If it's, there's also a lot of schools in Malaysia now, so there are a lot of choices.
Yeah.
I like what you said earlier, Julia, and with the next few minutes, I think this is a good way to close.
Yeah.
So, in spite and despite your challenges, I like the attitude where you keep making the best of what you got. Any final words for us, Julia? How you might want to inspire somebody who's watching this, who might want to be like a Julia, or maybe just any dreams that they have. It might not be education, just anything. What would you like to say to them?
Well, never miss out an opportunity to touch lives, to be able to change lives, and no matter how difficult it is, it's worthwhile, because life is just not about ourselves. It's so worthwhile to be able to do something for others, especially the future generation. They need us. They really need us. And we just need people to step up in any area to help these young ones get a sense of direction, find their identities, and be able to pursue their dreams as well. Because we used to have that, or some of us didn't used to have that, but in this era now, it's so difficult to get people who want to direct young people to do and to follow their dreams, to do what is right and to follow their dreams. So yeah, that's my advice. And of course, I hope that there'll be more teachers in the future, because we do need teachers. I cannot imagine probably 30 years down the road when we start to retire, then who is going to take over the next batch of teaching young people. So
well said, Julia. Well said. And we want to thank you for stepping up, because you are that example of the person who stepped up when the call was made. So thank you for being in the studio again.
Thank you.
And do come back, okay?
Thank
with
you for
greater
having
stories
me.
in the days to come.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I wanted to enter the coffee scene just out of passion, and bought my own beans to try out. Started from cheapest beans, talking about maybe about like 30 ringgit for 250 grams, all the way to about 110 for 250 grams.